Hi, and welcome to this week's weekly general reading. I post these every Monday, so if you're new and you and you enjoy this reading, just know that if you subscribe that you'll get these every Monday, in addition to some pick a card readings during the week and all of that kind of stuff. So it is timeless, which means you don't have to watch this the day it goes up in order to get something out of it. Just whenever you watch it, what you're picking will be true for the next 7 days. All right, guys? I am going to put this on a playlist of other weekly general readings. That way you guys can kind of shuffle through it if you want to look at other weeks, or if you want to, just go ahead and see one every Monday. Obviously subscribe, but you could also just look at that playlist and there will always be a new one every Monday. All right, guys? All right. So everything you need to know about me, including private readings, is going to be in the description. At the end of the video, I will be sharing some news and the channel schedule and stuff like that. So if you want to know some news, then go ahead and click on that timestamp. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and start with naming the piles. All right, guys? Okay, so pile number 1 is the pink butterfly. Pile number 2 is the purple butterfly. Pile number 3 is the red butterfly. Pile number 4 is the blue butterfly. Pile number 5 is the white butterfly, and pile number 6 is the green butterfly. All right, guys? So if you haven't picked your pile yet, go ahead and pause the video. Otherwise, we are going to start with pile number 1. Hi, those of you who picked the first pile, the pink butterfly, here's your reading. Okay, so we have Tranquility. All right, we have the 3 of Cups. Okay, please don't get nervous. Okay, we'll look at the whole thing. We have the Tower. We have the 6 of Coins. All right. We have the Paths followed by the Mice. And then we have Prosperity Begins. Okay, this kind of has the a vibe that you kind of have to lose something in order to gain something. Okay, so this week I understand the Tower is just sticking right out there, probably scaring some of you, but this week is going to be a week where you kind of go through a little bit of a transformation, and for some of you it'll be a big one, but we're talking about transformations. We're talking about narrowing things down too. And when I say things, I mean like choices, options, that kind of stuff, but doing that so that you can then be prosperous. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at these tarot cards and interpret them. Okay. So beware of excess. Okay. Sometimes this card will come up and let us know that maybe there's a party coming up with friends, or maybe you've been spending some time with friends and everything, which is good. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Of course, be safe, but other than that, yeah, so you might be doing that, but I really feel like it is also kind of warning to excess. It's just not as, it's just not as big of a warning as, say, the devil might be. Okay, when we look at the devil, it's just kind of a minor warning. For example, I mean, I'm just gonna go with alcohol. Like if you drink alcohol this week, you might get a little bit of a tummy ache or something like that. That's what I'm going for. I was just using that as an example. Okay. So yeah, just kind of keep that in mind. The Tower lets us know that something major is going to change and shift. Okay, this could be a big shift. Okay, but what we're doing here is that this is clearing out one of your options, which is the paths. It talks about it's like a fork in the road. You've got 2 different options that you could take, or in some cases multiple ones, and it's like I feel like the Tower moment isn't necessarily a bad thing, because you're not going to be able to have to kind of sit there and be like, gosh, I don't know which one to decide, because the decision's going to be made for you. And so that's why we get the Paths and the Mice, because we have the Paths is like different options, and then the Mice, they take away from things, That's the way the Lenormand's read. Very traditional. Sometimes I do read it intuitively and that kind of stuff. And, of course, everybody has their own interpretation of the Lenormand, but going with the rest of the cards here, it just looks like you're going to have an option taken away from you, or a decision is being made for you. You don't have to worry about which side to go with because it's going to be obvious, that kind of thing. All right. This Tower moment, I'm going to go ahead and kind of go out on a limb here with the idea of making a prediction. Whatever's going to go down it's going to kind of disturb your peace, okay, I don't believe it's going to have anything to do with money, okay, because when the Six of Coins comes up, it feels very balanced when it comes to your material world. It feels balanced with your material world, like you're feeling like you have some wiggle room, that kind of stuff. So I really don't think it's going to have to do with that, although it might. This might be the trigger of something that will bring in more prosperity, as we obviously have Prosperity Begins, which is, generally it generally points to getting to a place where you're either making more money or you're gaining more material. It could also mean that you're starting a new project and that kind of stuff. There's going to be some kind of prosperity with this week that you're going to know that things are starting to pick up. Okay, so another thing about this Tower moment for you is that it might shake up your world completely, but it feels like there's going to be a lot of positive things coming from it. And even this taking away this idea, this option, or taking away this decision for you and kind of making it for you, is actually kind of like a relief. And so that's why I'm saying, and I'm saying that mostly because your advice card is Tranquility, and I feel like you're not going to have much problems in being peaceful this week, okay? I actually feel like if there's going to be any major trouble, it's going to actually come from this rather than the Tower moment. So that's an interesting thing for me, because usually the Tower comes up and it's more negative, right? And I'm not saying that you're going to have the perfect week or anything. I'm just saying that this isn't going to be as big of a deal as it might seem when you first turn over the Tower card and it's like, oh my goodness, So, kind of keep that in mind. If you guys, I'm always interested in feedback for, what does happen over the next 7 days. So those of you who picked this pile, if you want to leave me some feedback over the next week and let me know how this played out for you, I'd be really interested in that. Especially given that we have the Tower, which indicates like a kind of massive change that might leave you feeling a little vulnerable, but it doesn't feel like it's a bad thing for me. So that would be one of the main reasons why I'd want you guys to comment back. But anyway, yeah, it looks like your week is going to be eventful, definitely. But you're going to be able to get through it just fine, and there's going to be some kind of new beginning. I do have to say, even though this is a non-traditional deck, okay, and so I read it non-traditionally because that's the way it's supposed to be read. But it is based on tarot, and this particular card would be the Ace of Coins, all right? But since in the illustration you've got hands and you've got growth here, and, prosperity begins and all of that, and, it's like fruitful being, that kind of thing. It feels like there might be something there that has to do with a relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic relationship. It could be, but maybe even a friendship, that kind of thing, especially since this friend card comes up. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed your reading. Let me know what you think. And again, if you want to see one of these every week so that you can kind of prepare for your week, just go ahead and subscribe to the channel. All right, thank you. All right, those of you who picked the purple butterfly, here is your reading. Okay, we have Break Free. All right, we have the 3 of Coins, we have the 8 of Cups, and we have the 9 of Wands. Okay, and then we've got the Rider followed by the Clouds, and then we have Rejoice and Celebration. Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm pausing. I'm just trying to kind of get get a grip here because there's a lot of different information. It normally when I get a reading, I tend to see the big, like I see one picture and then I kind of just go from there. But it just seems like you guys are going to have a really eventful weekend. I'm sorry, a really eventful week that's going to really play out in a lot of different ways. So if you feel like you're being pulled in a lot of different directions this week, just know it's because there's just a lot going on. So on one hand, we've got in work or some kind of skill. It doesn't necessarily have to be for money, but typically this is a work card. But it could be just a skill. Like, for example, maybe you're writing a short story. You're looking for some feedback to let you know that you're on, that you're doing a good job, that kind of thing. You're going to be you might be feeling a little bit less confident in your skills. I'm not getting anything to indicate that you should, feel that way, but for whatever reason, we're human. We all want to kind of get some kind of positive feedback and let us know that we're doing okay. A pat in the back is good. So, but it's just like you're going to be feeling a little bit insecure. Insecure might even be too strong of a word, but it's like you're going to be looking for someone or multiple people to give you some positive feedback on that. All right. So, you've got that going on where you're wanting that positive feedback. My advice to you with this is just to ask, okay? Really, ask for some feedback, but just know that not everybody's going to value things the way that you do. And I think that looking for outside of yourself for feedback and all of that is very, very helpful. It's a great sounding board and all. But of course, because of my job and everything, I'm going to tell you, that whatever is inside of you that tells you that this is what you're supposed to be doing and that tells you you're doing a good job, listen to that as well, okay? I'm just saying that because, listening to that inner voice is a big deal for me personally, so... All right, so moving on, we do have some kind of emotional situation where you're going to kind of walk away from it. I'm not saying that you're going to completely leave a relationship or that you're going to completely stop emoting this week, right? But what I'm saying is that there's going to be something that has reached its end for you emotionally, and it's like you've got to take a break from that, okay? So with that, we've got the Eight of Cups, which is basically walking away from drama, okay? Combined with this break free card, this feels like it's very freeing, okay? So it does feel like it would be a good thing. And I feel like this is going to come naturally. So if you're in a situation where you're feeling a lot of emotions, it feels very intense and that kind of thing, and it feels like, ooh, I don't want to walk away from that though, because I like it. It's going to be more like taking a break. It's not really, and you're going to make some kind of decision that makes it so it's not affecting you as much, okay? So, how that turns out, I feel like that's going to be revealed more in the middle of the week rather than now. So kind of keep that in mind, is that that's going to be kind of an internal feeling that you embrace, okay? Then we've got the Nine of Wands, which I feel is kind of like tied to this in that because you break free, and even though that is freeing, and even though you're not having to experience any kind of drama or anything like that, then you start feeling a little bit nervous. It's like antsy energy or like... I wouldn't go as far as to say anxious because this is a Wands card rather than a Swords card. Those of you who are prone to anxiety, it might end up coming that way, but it feels like it's like you walk away and that's what you're supposed to do, or you take a break from something and that's what you're supposed to do, but then you feel like you have to do something more, like there's something new that you need to do and that kind of stuff. For some of you, there actually will be something new to do, okay? But for most of you, it's just going to feel a little uncomfortable because it's like walking away from intensely emotional situation might not be what you would naturally do, and then it feels like that's not an action, but that is your action. That is what you're supposed to do. Either way, you're gonna feel nervous that you might get hurt if you don't do something more. my advice to you is just do what feels natural, okay? Because this feels like it's something that you need to do in order to get to a better place emotionally in whichever situation this is talking about. It could be more than one, okay? Interestingly enough, by the end of the week, though, you're going to be feeling very positive about this, okay? And this is the end card. This is like at the end of this week, you're going to be feeling celebratory, you're going to be feeling joy, you're going to be feeling happiness and that kind of stuff. So I feel like whatever happens with this emotional thing, you're going to come out on top, all right? There's one thing here, though, that lets me know that there might be a little bit of a shift in the negative as well this week for you. And that is, we've got somebody who wants to give you a message really quickly, okay? So this might be towards the beginning of the week. And it might be this thing that you've got to kind of remove yourself from. But I'm not getting that it's connected, okay? It could be, but I'm not getting that intuitively. But it's like there's somebody that has a message to send to you, and it'll probably be... it might actually be like in person, okay? It might not be message like over the internet or something like that. Or maybe in like a video chat or something like that. But I mean, it will be a message however it comes through. But it's going to confuse you. It's going to just end up, and it's not even going to be necessarily... It's interesting because the message is neutral, but for whatever reason, it gives you a lot of confusion. Unfortunately, you're going to be feeling confused until next week, but next week you're going to start getting more clarity on whatever this message is, okay? So understand, if you get like a letter or somebody tells you something in person, or somebody shares their feelings with you or their ideas with you, and it ends up making you feel a little yucky or confused or maybe even a little down, just understand that that's going to clear itself up, okay? And I'm also getting to trust in whoever it is that tells you this, that things are going to be okay, by the end, okay? So that would be my advice for you. So, breaking free, that's just talking about making sure that you are making your own choices, okay? Yes, it's important to get feedback, but ultimately you've got to make your own choices. Of course, it's becoming free from, any kind of negative emotions that you can control. But it's also just talking about how you've got to be kind of like a free spirit, be willful, that kind of thing. That's an appropriate thing to be this week. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed your reading. You can check next week for how your next week's going to be going, and please, leave me some feedback if, with when some of this stuff starts happening, so I can see how that ends up playing out. I'm always interested in that. Thank you. All right. Hi, those of you who picked the red butterfly, pile number 3. Okay, consult an expert. This is interesting because we got one like this last week, I think, in one of these readings. Let's go ahead. We've got the Queen of Swords. Okay, we've got Strength, and we have the 5 of Wands. Okay, we have Victory and Success. Okay, and then we have the Boat and the Book. All right, how interesting is this? I like this. Okay, so first off, this is going to be kind of a big week. It's not huge, but it's going to be kind of big because we have a Major Arcana card, okay? What you're going to find is that the theme of this week will be kind of like reaching understandings and then having difficulties and then reaching understanding. It's going to be about... it's like your whole week is going to have to do with communication. So be very aware this week about how you're communicating. Understand that the way you're communicating might not be too clear. Comparatively for this week, just be very cautious or aware. I just want to say aware of how you're speaking, your tone of voice and that kind of stuff, because if people want to read something into it, they will. Okay. But what's pulling all of this together, though, and making it not a bad week, for example, is that you're going to be able to understand where people are coming from, and you'll be able to very quickly correct them so that you can reach an understanding. So if you're in a situation right now where maybe there's somebody in your life and it's been very difficult for you to reach an understanding with them, this would be the week to try to go ahead and do that, because we do have this strength card. And the reason why I say understanding with the strength card, because it's, there's a lot of different ways of interpreting this, but you have this woman and this beast, and they have reached some kind of understanding, okay? And it goes almost beyond, it goes beyond what is natural, I think, because we've got two people from different, in Druidry, we talk about the different planes of existence, and there's the animal world, and then there's the human world. So like the lions from the animal world, and so it's like they're transcending worlds in order to speak with one another. Now, I do want to say that is allegorical, obviously. Druidry is one of those things that kind of is thought of as being like very, very mystical and magical, but it's very naturalistic, actually. I just wanted to mention that because I don't want to I guess I don't want to sow any kind of misunderstanding about Druidry, because there's enough as it is. But going back to the strength card, it's just, you are going to be able to reach understandings with people, even people who might be kind of difficult. So again, that would be a good thing to do. Just know that it's just like people are going to be really sensitive to words in your life, okay? Just know that this week, but it's like you've been given a superpower this week, that even though everybody around you is going to be maybe a little bit like prone to their own interpretation, you still will be able to clarify everything and be great there. I feel like this is a separate thing. Separate from this, you are going to also enjoy some kind of success, okay? This could be something as small as making a good grade on your test, and it could be something as big as maybe, getting a new job, or something like that. It's whatever this is, though, this is not going to take you by surprise, in that this is going to be something that you've been preparing for, okay? Whether you prepare for it this week or you've been preparing for it in the past weeks, this is something that that you want to be successful in. So also understand that if there's something you set out to, I guess, win or to get ahead and all of that, this week's a good week to do that, because success is pretty much ensured, okay? So we also have, and this is really interesting to me personally, we've got the ship followed by the book. Now, one thing about the book is that sometimes it can pertain to a big letter or some kind of communication like that. But typically in Lenormand, we're talking about secrets, mystery, knowledge, that kind of stuff, okay? So the boat can show like a long, like it can talk about long time, okay? And it can talk about moving slowly. But I feel like this week, and then this is separate from these, this week you're going to get maybe an aha moment, or maybe you're going to experience a sudden realization, and something that's been hidden from you, some kind of secret, something that you've been really wanting to figure out is going to be revealed. Is going to reveal itself for you. But this has been something that's been going on for a very long time. It's something you've been curious about for a long time. It might not be fully revealed, but it will be partially revealed, and that information will be very, very helpful to you, okay? So that's kind of this is very mysterious to me. So I'd be interested in what this ends up being for you guys. And then we've got Consult an Expert, and I don't feel, it really feels separate from all the rest. there might be some kind of situation in your life, and maybe you guys know. I mean, maybe you're going to go to the doctor or the dentist, or to go see a counselor, or a lawyer, or somebody, you know, like that. Or maybe you're going to call in a repairman or something like that. But you're going to need to consult somebody who knows a little bit more about something than you do in order to solve a problem this week, okay? This could just be as simple as asking a friend who might be in a certain trade or have certain knowledge about things, or it could be, you know, something like, you know, something a little bit more big. But either way, just understand, because especially within the case of the repairman, just understand that there's going to be a problem that's going to be difficult for you to solve without getting that expert advice, and it would just be easier to get that expert advice. So even though, yes, you're ensured success in most of your endeavors, there's, you know, when you're in over your head and you know that you don't know enough in order to solve this problem, just know you'll need an expert. But I actually don't feel like it's going to cost very much, because I'm not getting anything at all this week for you that's going to disrupt money in any way. I'm not getting anything like that. So keep that in mind. I hope you enjoyed your weekly reading. Of course, I welcome any kind of feedback. It's always interesting to see how this plays out. And thank you for watching. Hi, those of you who picked the blue butterfly, here is your reading. All right, contemplation time. Okay, Judgment, Ace of Cups, Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so you guys, those of you who picked this one, you're going to have a pretty big week. All right, we've got two major arcana cards. We have the snake followed by the coffin. That's interesting. And then we've got patience. Okay, and this is another major arcana card. All right, guys. So I actually think that this exact combination came out last week for a pile. I'm not 100% certain on that, but I'm pretty sure it did. Because I remember there being some, like, an ending to some kind of pain, or an ending to manipulation, or an ending to something like that, okay? The coffin means ending, typically, you know. I feel like this is a little bit different than the energy that I remember from last week's reading, and understand it might have been a private reading, because I'm not quite certain if it was from one of my public readings that I post here or a private reading. So I'm not going to reveal exactly what it meant last week, but what it means this week is that somebody who's been causing you some pain, somebody who, it's typically going to be a person for you guys, but somebody who's been causing you pain is going to just stop. I feel like they're going to be, it's almost like there's an obstacle put up in between you and the person, and you're not going to be able to go, like, the problematic person is not going to be able to cross that. Now, one thing that is coming through, and no judgment, and I'm not saying it's for all of you, okay, because, you know, again, this is a public reading, so not everything's going to apply 100%, but for some of you, if you're in a third-party situation, if you are the third party, know that this might be a week where you don't get a whole lot of attention, okay? But for those of you who that doesn't apply to, or whatever, there's just somebody who's been kind of causing some trouble, and that trouble's going to stop, at least for the week, okay? So that's going to actually be good, because you will have a whole lot of other things to focus on. And for those of you who the third party thing does apply to, again, absolutely no judgment. I'm just saying, if that does apply to you, understand that the snake can mean a lot of different things. And sometimes it refers to the third party in a third party situation. Okay. Even though you might not be getting as much attention from your person and all of that, you will have other things to focus on, okay? Don't be surprised if you feel a little emotional this week. It feels like there's going to be a lot of emotion stirring, okay? That's what I'm getting from the Ace of Cups. Sometimes when the Ace of Cups comes up, it feels like it's somebody else. No, this feels like it's you guys, whoever picked this pile. You're going to feel a little emotional. Just understand that, because I don't feel like it's going to get in the way. Understand that with emotions comes a lot of knowledge. It provides so much information for you. So listen to those feelings. If your feeling is uncomfortable, then examine that and figure out, why do I feel uncomfortable? If your feelings are overjoyed, examine that and figure out why you feel that way. That's how to manage it, basically, is what I'm saying. But understand you might be a little bit more sensitive this week, okay? The Wheel of Fortune can, often shows a change in luck, okay? But for this time, for you guys, I feel like this is letting you know that the timing is just about to be right for you to make a bold move in your life, okay? And most of you guys will have planned this, but with the Judgment card, it's kind of like a calling. It feels like you're being pulled to do something. It feels like, it might be something new, or it might be something that you've kind of had in the back of your head, thinking like, oh, it would be nice if I did that thing, but you haven't had the ability to until now, that kind of thing. But an opportunity is going to present itself to do something you've wanted to explore. And when you do that, it's like it's going to be the right time, okay? Some of you guys, this is going to end up being at the end of the week, okay? But for most of you, it's going to be around the middle of the week. You're going to be presented with this kind of opportunity. And understand, if you are presented with an opportunity, I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm just saying it feels like you're supposed to say yes. Obviously, make your own decision, but it feels like whatever this opportunity is, it's going to be very, very positive for you. Okay. So kind of keep that in mind. So, and this is another call to like start a new project as well. Okay. With the Patience card, I feel like this is referring to the timing, in that it's like just a little bit more and then it'll be right. Okay. And again, the Wheel of Fortune can indicate a change in luck. That's not what I'm getting from it. And I'm aware of that. What I'm getting from it is much more this kind of like the timing. It's like more like fate, like the timing is right. Whereas it hasn't been right. It's like something is clicking into place. And that's the way I'm interpreting that. Okay. Contemplation time. I've kind of already talked about this with the emotions, okay? I really do feel like your emotional, the emotional atmosphere of this week is going to cause you to feel like examining things. Just understand that sometimes when we intellectualize things, we can kind of go a little bit too far. And by that, I mean, when there's one thing about analyzing things, right? And analysis is great. But sometimes we can overanalyze, and sometimes we can criticize and that kind of stuff when it comes to taking emotions and then contemplating it. Remember, when you contemplate it, contemplate with compassion, contemplate with the understanding that you're human and that you're supposed to be feeling these feelings, and try to figure out why you're feeling them. You don't have to necessarily explain them. You don't have to say whether they're right or wrong or make any judgment about them. All you have to do is, as far as this goes, is that if you feel moved to, which I feel like you guys will, contemplate where your feelings are coming from more than whether it's right or wrong to feel them. Okay. So kind of keep that in mind, especially because I think that most of you guys are going to be feeling kind of emotionally turbulent this week. It's not so bad, but it's going to be coloring your week in a way that, you're going to want to put some reflection into that. All right, guys. Okay. So you guys are going to have a pretty big week. It looks very interesting. And I hope you enjoyed your reading, and regardless, I hope you have a great week. All right, those of you who picked the white butterfly, we've got Simplify Your Life. Okay, I can see why. All right, so we have the 9 of Swords, the High Priestess, and the 7 of Cups. All right, we have the dog followed by the bear. And then we have Authority. Okay, so this is a non-traditional deck. I do want to mention that, but this is a Major Arcana card. So I do want to mention that you've got a major arcana card here and here, so that shows me that your week's going to be a little bit big comparatively. All right, so I really feel like simplify your life is kind of the big thing that's going to go on this week, okay? And it's going to feel like you don't have a whole lot of control this week, okay? And that's not necessarily the happiest place to be, right? It's not going to feel nice, but there is some areas where you can get a lot of strength and feel a lot better about this week. One is by listening to your intuition and examining your spirituality, okay? And those of you who don't have a spirituality or don't have a religion, examine science, examine facts, examine what you feel to be a explanation for why things happen the way they do, okay? Because I feel like you're going to want to contemplate things in the spiritual realm. For those of you who are really in touch with your intuition, that can be a place to retreat to, where you can kind of feel things out. But understand that because there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be on your mind and you're going to be feeling a little out of control, some of you guys will have your intuition blocked this week. And that can feel uncomfortable. So instead of looking at your intuition, look at the supernatural, the sublime, the spiritual, that kind of stuff, okay? It doesn't necessarily have to be it doesn't have to be disconnected from reality. It's just like there's like there's a bigger picture basically that you can access through your religion or spirituality that will help you get perspective this week, okay? So we have some sleepless nights, we've got a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry. The good news with this is that it is in your mind. A lot of people are prone to, when they're thinking about something, to kind of attach to those more negative thoughts. And the reason we do that is because the negative thoughts feel a lot heavier, more substantial than the lighter, more positive thoughts, right? Because they feel more substantial, they feel more real, okay? And that's why when we get into a place where we're not able to sleep, we're worrying a lot, and we're kind of driving ourselves insane by thinking a lot. It's because of that. It's because, it's natural for people to feel like the heavier something is, the more true it is, okay? Now, in your case, that's not necessarily true. In your case, I feel like you're doing what one of the books that I read recently is like you're borrowing trouble, basically. Like you have a whole lot of anxiety going on, but you're worried about things that don't have a likelihood of happening, okay? So really keep that in mind and let that help you with that perspective. Another thing is like you're going to feel kind of overwhelmed with all the different things that either that you have set up as obligations this week, or you're going to be feeling overwhelmed with all of the different demands people are going to be putting on you. This card can sometimes show that we have a lot of options and we have to choose wisely and that kind of stuff, but it feels to me, with all the rest of the energy, it just feels like it's almost like sensory overload. So understand, it's okay to cancel, and also understand that it's okay to say no. That's basically what my advice for this is. It's just going to feel like maybe this week it's going to feel like everybody else is moving a little bit too fast for you to keep up with, or it's going to feel a little bit out of your control. And maybe if you're already experiencing this, it's going to feel even more difficult. The one thing not to do is to try to control it. Understand there are only a very small amount of things that you can control, and I'm not saying that to try to make you feel worse, but so that you can kind of be relieved that you don't have to control all of those things. Just control yourself. Just simplify your own life by maybe canceling some plans or by saying no, and all of that. If you feel like you can't take as much, this week as normal. Okay. One thing that's really interesting is that we have a friend that is maybe in a position of power, or maybe you're This is the mother-in-law card, okay? The bear just happens to be the mother-in-law card, at least for me. It's a very huge kind of feeling for me. So when I think about this, I think, of course, of the archetype, okay, of the mother-in-law as being kind of maybe overbearing, maybe expecting you to be a certain way that, you know, that's basically impossible to be, that kind of thing. So this might be a friend that's difficult or a friend that's overbearing. It could be a mother, it could be a stepmother, it could be a mother-in-law, or it could be just an older sister or an older sibling. I don't know why I'm so stuck that this is a female, but it could be a male too, okay? It could be your boss, okay? Because this is also a card that's associated with bosses, okay? Or it could just be a friend from your work, okay? But either way, there's going to be someone come up and they're going to be taking up a lot of your awareness this week. And I feel like it's kind of somewhat new for you, and it's going to help you, actually. This person's here to help. And this person, you know, who's normally kind of might be a little overbearing, or a person that might be normally a little, almost like it's almost like they're placed above you in some kind of unspoken hierarchy, okay? And I'm not saying that they are above you. I'm just saying that maybe in your culture, this person would normally be somebody who is someone who's above you, and that's, you know, and that also, you know, kind of pertains to elders, like, you know, like a mother-in-law or a mother or a grandmother, or you know, like a boss. But whoever this is going to be able to help you simplify your life, okay? This person is going to be very helpful this week. So if you happen to get a call from your mother-in-law, it's actually a good idea to talk this one time. You know, I know not everybody has negative experiences with their mother-in-law. I'm just trying to kind of bring some humor into this. But really, the whole thing is that most likely an older person or somebody who is above you, it could be a teacher too, okay, is going to be able to provide you with very helpful wisdom in finding ways to feel less like you have to control things and more like you're in control of things, by helping you to simplify your life, okay? And this is going to look different from each person. It's going to be, this is kind of like maybe you need to clean out your closet, or it could be maybe you need to start selling all of your stuff on eBay. I mean, it could be a whole lot of different things, you know? But it's just simplifying, as in, not necessarily cutting things out, but reducing the amount of noise in your life, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Regardless of what the cards say, I do hope you have a good week. And if you enjoyed this reading, make sure to subscribe. All right? Thank you. All right, those of you who picked the green butterfly, here is your reading. Let yourself receive. Okay. We've got Temperance, we've got the 10 of coins, followed by the 10 of swords. Okay, we have the scythe, followed by the anchor. Okay, and then we have heartache and loss. Okay, this is so sad. And the reason I say that is that not because you're going to have necessarily a sad week. Some of you guys might, but it's just, I feel like this is a lot of heartache over something that might not be as big as it feels this week, okay? So this week is going to be turbulent for you, and it is going to have some, it's going to feel kind of like a roller coaster, because it's going to have some down points, but it's going to also have like very high points too, okay? The theme here is temperance, which is a little bit of you know, it's kind of like about balancing things out, which is just it. And another thing is like everything in moderation is kind of like what temperance is about. At least in this spread, it is. You are going to end up being prosperous. Like if I can't give you financial advice, but if you do have some kind of investment or something like that, you might receive something from that investment, that kind of thing, or you might be given a little bit of extra money or something like that. But you're going to be feeling good as far as your material possessions, and you might end up getting something new, either a material possession or literal money that helps you out there and makes you feel really on top of things. Okay. But I also get that you're going to be feeling a lot of pain from something, from most likely a relationship that has been a really like a strong anchor for you for your maybe either your whole life or maybe for the past few years. It's a very strong relationship. It might be a love relationship. It might be a friendship. Probably isn't going to be a family relationship, but it might be, but it probably isn't going to be. And I know I use the word anchor, and it's because the anchor comes up, and the scythe shows the pain is coming from this thing that's been stable in your life. Okay, so it's gonna feel like it's out of nowhere. The good thing is about watching this is that you're gonna know that it's happening. You're gonna know that it's coming. Because otherwise I feel like it would come out of nowhere. It says heartache and loss. I don't think you're going to lose this relationship in any way. I don't feel like that's where this is going. I feel like more that it's just there's going to be something about this relationship that's going to hurt, this week. I don't feel like it, again, this is a pretty violent picture when it comes to, pain. Okay, and this is a pretty violent picture when it comes to sadness, all right? So I don't feel like I feel like it's not going to be as big as these images. I feel like it's going to be more, it's going to be this, if it feels big, it's going to be because that's the way you're interpreting it emotionally and intellectually, okay? Either way, when we get pain from an area in our life that's normally stable and secure, it can be very upsetting, and it can be very disorienting. Okay, so that disorientation that you might feel, understand that it's okay to ask for help from someone else. And it's even okay to ask for help in this relationship. If this relationship ends up kind of giving you some pain, understand it's okay to ask this person to, maybe clarify or explain a little bit more, okay? You might not feel like talking to them, for a little while, but understand that your advice here is to allow yourself to receive. So there's something about this situation that I can't see, probably because it's going to be very specific to each one of you. And since I'm doing a general reading for a lot of people, for those of you who pick this pile, it's going to be a different kind of thing for each one of you, and I can't really speak to what it's going to be, but there's going to be an opportunity to receive, and it might feel like, it might feel a little awkward, okay, to do that. It actually might be that you need to go to somebody to ask for help, and maybe they won't give you help normally, or maybe that they do give you help, but it makes you feel bad. Some people, a lot of people feel bad when they ask for help, but just know that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to lean on other people and that kind of stuff. Whether this person can't be leaned on is one thing, but there are people in your life that you can lean on. So this is kind of like saying, if you need help in anything, make sure that you ask, because this is a good week to ask. This will be a week where you're going to be feeling like asking for that. And if you feel a little bit uncomfortable, understand it's appropriate this week. All right. Overall, it feels more like a yucky week than a positive one, but by the end of the week, and I mean, I'm talking like, goodness, like I feel like by the end of the week, like maybe 5 days from now to 6 days from now, you're going to be feeling a lot more calm, because you're going to have some kind of additional control over what's going on in your life. compared to the first like 5 days, for example. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. Regardless of what the cards say, I hope that you do have a very good week. And if you want to know what's happening next week, go ahead and subscribe, because I post these every Monday. All right, so thank you for watching to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. So I just wanted to let you guys know that I am doing a little bit, I'm trying to work with my different private readings and making them more easy, you know, basically making them apply more to more situations. Okay, so while I'm not going to be changing any kind of pricing there, I am going to be maybe adding more. So just kind of keep that in mind. Again, with my readings, there's a limited amount every week. Okay, I refresh that amount every Monday. So if you try to order, let's say on Friday, and I'm out, it's because I only allow myself to do a few readings each week so that I can make sure that I get them out to people at a good time. All right. But I am going to be offering more variety of readings. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. So yeah, this week we're going to have some pick a card readings, and I will get that weekly general love reading on Friday. I was not able to do that last week, but we're going to start that up just like today's reading, and we're going to do it every Friday. All right, guys, so that'll be good. As always, you know, I've got a merch store, and that's 10 off if you want 10% off. You know, if you need anything from me at all, or, you know, even if it seems small, go ahead and reach out to me. It's fine. I have my email here, and you're totally fine reaching out to me. So that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I just really want to share how happy I am with how the channel's growing, and it's exciting. And I'm just really, really glad that I decided to come back to YouTube regularly. And I hope that you guys continue to enjoy my readings, because it's really great. Some of the comments that I'm getting and all of the likes and all of that kind of stuff, it's great. It makes me feel really good, like I'm doing something that I'm supposed to be doing. So I really do appreciate that, guys. I will see you tomorrow with tomorrow's pick a card reading.